In the small industrial city of Gary, Indiana, the sound of trains, factory whistles, and dreams yet to be born filled the air. Amid the smoke and steel, inside a tiny house on Jackson Street, a legend was being shaped, though no one knew it yet. On August 29, 1958, Michael Joseph Jackson was born, the eighth of 10 children in the Jackson family. The Jacksons didn't have much. Their father, Joseph, worked long hours at the steel mill, and their mother, Catherine, balanced caring for the children while nurturing their deep love for music. Catherine filled the house with gospel and soul, spinning records of Sam Cooke, Ray Charles, and the Temptations. It was through her that Michael first discovered rhythm, not as noise but as magic. But it was Joseph, stern and relentless, who would turn that magic into discipline. He saw talent in his sons and he wanted out of Gary. He formed the Jackson Brothers, a small band made up of his older sons, Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine. But it wasn't until little Michael joined the group that everything changed. Michael was only 5 years old when his father first placed him in front of a microphone. And from the first note, it was clear. This wasn't just a child singing. This was a voice beyond its years, filled with pain, emotion, and soul that could silence a room. Rehearsals were brutal. Joseph demanded perfection. Every dance step, every harmony, sharp, precise, and powerful. And while some say his methods were harsh, there's no denying, it worked. By the time Michael was 6, the Jackson 5 were local stars, performing at talent shows, clubs, and any stage that would have them. Crowds were drawn not just to the group, but to the small boy who moved like James Brown and sang like no one else. Soon, word spread beyond Indiana. The Jackson 5 began performing across the Midwest, their energy unstoppable. And one night, after a local performance, Gladys Knight, already a Motown star, saw them perform and was blown away. She told Gordy, the founder of Motown Records, that he needed to see these kids. At first, Gordy was skeptical. He'd seen countless young acts before. But when he finally saw the Jackson 5 perform, he was speechless. Michael wasn't just talented, he was electric. It was as if the stage was where he truly belonged. Gordy signed them to Motown in 1968. And just like that, the Jackson family left behind the steel mills of Gary for the bright lights of Los Angeles. It was there that Michael met Diana Ross, one of Motown's brightest stars, and a woman who would change his life. Diana introduced the Jackson 5 to the world. She guided Michael, mentored him, and helped polish the raw diamond that he was, a writee. In interviews, Michael always spoke of her with love and admiration. Some say even a sense of deep, almost spiritual connection. But behind the scenes, not everything was perfect. Michael, still just a child, was carrying the weight of a star. Constant rehearsals, endless tours, interviews, and little time to just be a kid. He once said, "I'd come home from school, and instead of playing outside, I'd have to go to the studio. I loved music, but I missed my childhood." When I Want You Back hit the airwaves in 1969, it exploded, #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Then came ABC, The Love You Save, and I'll Be There. Each one a massive hit. The Jackson 5 weren't just a band anymore, they were a phenomenon. And at the centre of it all, a small boy with a big voice and a heart full of dreams. Michael's voice, his dance moves, his innocence. They made the world fall in love. But even as the spotlight grew brighter, shadows began to form. Whispers of exhaustion, the pressure of fame, and the growing distance between Michael and his father. He once described Joseph's discipline as terrifying. The fear of making a mistake wasn't just emotional, it was physical. And as the Jackson 5's fame soared, so did the control around Michael's life. Every move was watched, every word rehearsed, every smile expected. To the world, he was living a dream. But to Michael, it was sometimes a cage made of applause. Still, his spirit didn't break. His love for music never faded. He studied greats like Jackie Wilson, Sammy Davis Jr., and James Brown, absorbing their moves, their timing, their connection to the crowd. Even at 10 years old, he wasn't just performing, he was learning how to command a stage. By 1971, Gordy made a bold decision to let Michael record solo songs while still performing with his brothers. The result? Got to Be There at Kuckany, his first solo single. It was a hit. The world was beginning to see that Michael wasn't just a star, He was destined to be an icon. But as his fame grew, so did the rumours. In later years, his sister LaToya Jackson would mention that strange things surrounded their family's success, claiming that people behind the scenes were manipulating their careers, that there were deeper forces in the industry that used their fame for profit and control. Michael himself hinted at these pressures in interviews, speaking about a system that doesn't care about the artist, only the machine. Of course, those remain theories, unproven, and tangled in the mystery that would follow him for the rest of his life. By the age of 13, Michael had already lived more than most people do in a lifetime. He was a millionaire, a global superstar, and an idol to millions. But he was also a child who longed for normalcy, to play outside, to laugh freely, to have friends who didn't see him as Michael Jackson. In those early years, the world witnessed the making of a prodigy, a boy from Gary, Indiana, who turned his pain, pressure, and passion into timeless music. He was no longer just part of a band. He was becoming the king of pop, even if he didn't know it yet. And this was only the beginning.